Cartier City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
G'day and Swaddy Cub. Well, Ren Alexander here, and I'm with one of the all-time favourite speakers we've ever had at the club. One of the people that makes a joy to talk about, listen to things about ill health, Dr. Andy Barraclough.
Greetings to all. Swaddy Cub Doktan.
And today it was on monkeypox, which looks worse perhaps than it is.
It looks terrible. There is a big emotional impact to the disease, but it is not especially serious. It has a low fatality rate.
And you might, if you're an older person such as ourselves, we might have some greater level of protection because
you've probably had the smallpox vaccination as a child, and smallpox vaccination gives about 85% protection against monkeypox. It's a similar disease, and the vaccination covers both.
So that's some good news. But one of the things that really came out about this talk, and it's a wonderful talk, you have to listen to this talk, or any talk by Dr. Andy, is the whole politics around it, and the thing that you tended to specialise in, which was?
Neglected tropical diseases, which of course are neglected, and there are 27 of them, and I fear that if we continue to neglect them, like monkeypox, they will erupt upon us in the West and in the high-income countries.
And so monkeypox was one of these neglected
tropical diseases.
And you had a few factors, about 5 factors that caused it to flare up.
We're seeing almost a perfect storm in that there is deforestation that's bringing animals out of the forest and into greater contact with humans. There is civil unrest and internally displaced persons from famine and other climatic effects all mixing together. So a huge churning of mankind with animals from the forest transmitting zoonotic diseases. That's diseases that move from animals into humans and then spread between humans.
So we're here in Thailand, and we have a couple of neglected tropical diseases here.
Well, we certainly have dengue fever in Thailand, which is a neglected tropical disease. Research is increasing on dengue, but it's still much neglected. We also have Japanese encephalitis, which is very rare but often fatal.
And the thing about it's about like 40% chance of fatality, and even if you survive, it's like a 40% chance of permanent brain damage.
I'm afraid so. It's a nasty disease, but it is very rare. It tends to be focusing on areas with bat-filled caves close to pig farms.
Oh, that's interesting and gruesome at the same time. But dengue fever, of course, somebody else I interviewed today, Lloyd, has had the full-on dengue fever, and you gave a wonderful talk on it, and this doesn't seem to be terrible, to be neglecting people, that disease.
The disease is not neglecting people. There are, of course, 4 kinds of dengue fever. Most people will have had one kind and not know it. It's only when you get a second kind that you tend to get a more severe infection, and that will then show up. It's here in Thailand, it's endemic, but mosquito population control is effective, and it does work, but more perhaps needs to be done.
So do you want to look into your crystal ball? How long till the next neglected tropical disease rears its head and becomes more visible?
Well, dengue fever traditionally goes in 4-year cycles. We're now at the dip, so I would expect in the next 2 to 3 years we'll see a resurgence of dengue. But also I would think that an avian influenza type disease is more likely. We'll see another outbreak, possibly a pandemic in that area, another zoonotic transmission disease.
Wow. Well, thank you again for yet another wonderful talk, and be afraid but not a sensible level of fear.
Be optimistic. The angel of hope from Pandora's box in the talk is there. We have good vaccines. The range of vaccines is increasing. We have mechanisms to fight these future diseases.
Well, on that optimistic note, we'll say goodbye and Swaddy Cub, and thank you yet again, Dr. Andy, for another really eye-opening talk.